All right, Akim, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, the honors the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Raquai, and back in here with another quick, Lord's will as always, an edifying lesson. And for today's lesson, I just wanted to go through the parable of the rich fool. And what really and truly inspired this lesson was having a couple conversations with a couple of Israelites that I came in contact with, and I noticed something about a lot of our people, especially when they come and they move to countries such whether it is Babylon the Great, aka America, or Babylon the Great adjacent countries, whether it be Canada or countries that are joined onto this great whore, right? England, France, so on and so forth. They make their money, they make their wealth, and a lot of them have understood and realized that they've gotten a raw end of the deal, and essentially they want to go back to the islands that they came from and actually try and establish whether it's a business or a house, or I want to rent up this apartment and these and this and that, all these different endeavors that our people want to go about doing when they get to a certain age, right? Because they realize that Babylon the Great, or countries that are joined onto it, the prospering is not there, essentially. So I just want to go and read through the parable, put in a couple precepts, and Yahweh Rataza, Yahweh willing, that this lesson may be edifying, right? So okay, let's go to Luke. So just bear with me on this. Oh, Slovakia. Okay, this is Luke chapter 12. I'll start at verse 13, and I want to read down. Okay, and so I want to read it in the NLT. So it says the following. Then someone called from the crowd, "Teacher, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me." Yahushua replied, "Friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that?" Verse 15, it says, "Then he said, beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own." In KJV, it says, "And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth." And that's so important, because it's understanding, and our people, they go through these different in particular endeavors, and they realize, like, they still have some kind of like a hole in their spirit, right? And they use essentially an outlet such as, okay, making money. And let me just put it this way, there's nothing wrong with making money if you're doing it in a righteous sense, right? The problem is, you Israelites, you like to worship the money, and especially, scriptures talk about the love of money is the root of all evil, right? So let me get that word covetousness. Okay, so let's see. So it says, inordinately desirous to obtain and possess, avaricious, which is just a fancy word for greedy. Passionate, desire, eagerness, ambition, very desirous, long for or desire, very desirous, eager to acquire. So somebody who's really like eager to acquire a lot of things, right? So verse 16, and it says, and here's the parable. Then he told them a story, Yahushua speaking. A man had fertile farm that produced fine crops. Verse 17, he said unto himself, what shall I do? I don't have room for all my crops. So this is going into a lot of the mindsets that a lot of our people have. They have these particular endeavors where, okay, I want to go, after I retire, I want to go, essentially I want to go back to, I guess, my home country, and we're going to go set up shop, and we're going to go do, okay, I want to go buy some land, set up a business, set up a, rent out apartments. I was actually speaking with an Israelite, recently, and he said that, okay, I want to go back to Jamaica at this point, and I want to go set up, essentially he wanted to set up like a small, like a little housing unit, and the housing unit essentially would have like the second floor would have like, I guess it's broken up into small apartment units, and he would rent it out to students essentially. So that's part of his endeavor, right? And I thought it was very, very interesting. And this is really what sparked, this lesson. So read verse 17 again. He said unto himself, what shall I do? I don't have room for all my crops. Verse 18, and it says, then he said, I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have enough to store all my wheat and other goods. So this is going into a lot of the endeavors that the mind this individual has, and it shows, and you see the parallels between that and our people today. It's very, very same parallels. Whether they essentially they make it back, and they make it, whether especially in Hollywood, and they, whether they're a boxer or an actor or a musician, they have like some kind of endeavor to kind of like, whether it's buy the block or come back to the so-called community and do something, and so on and so forth. But what they're really lacking is an understanding of their heritage and who they are. As a matter of fact, let me get that. Just bear with me on this. So Isaiah 1 verse 3, and it says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but my people doth not know. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Verse 4, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, that have forsaken the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel to anger. They have gone away backward, right? So our people are constantly laden with iniquity. And a good example of that is recently I was watching this interview with a lot of these famous Jakes, these Israelites in the NBA. And I didn't know about this, but apparently there's a lot of, essentially a lot of adultery that Jake involves themselves in these different spaces. And I didn't know it. Like they would, for example, they would send, I forgot how the interviewer worded it. So essentially they would kind of have the, what's the guy's name? Not the referee, maybe the towel boy. They would fetch this person to go and get this person's number. And, this person, like this woman, for example, would be married and so on and so forth. And, all of that, there's so much iniquity that our people are involved in, the satanic practices that our people are involved in when it comes to the music, even Kanye himself, and even other rappers have said themselves they've lost family members every time they drop a studio album, so on and so forth, right? Even Cardi B's even had mentioned that she wouldn't even allow her children to listen to the music that she produces, and that's a telltale a sign, right? And scriptures talk about a child being trained up in a particular way, right? So when they're older, that they won't depart from that level of understanding, and really they should be trained up in their culture, right? And that is what's wrong with, as one of the things that's wrong with our people. They're not trained up in the culture of being Hebrew Israelites. They're trained up in the culture of being complete degenerates. That's why the scriptures talk about they become a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto the Most High. Right? So going back to the parable, so I'll read verse 18 again, and it says, Then said, I know, excuse me, let me read that again. It says, Then he said, I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have enough room to store all my wheat and all the other goods. Verse 19, here's the kicker. It says, I'll sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, be merry. Right? So go back and chillax into that spirit, right? Let go of all your worries, all your cares, all your troubles, right? Because you think all the money, all your possessions, is going to grant you, salvation, and have going to instill mercy and bring mercy towards you, right? So verse 20, it says, But Yahweh said unto him, You fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for, right? So they spend so much time hoarding all these different treasures, all this labor, which like the scriptures talk about, your labor that satisfieth not, right? As a matter of fact, I got a precept. Give me 1 second. I believe it's in Sirach, because I've noticed this with even some of my family members as well, and it shows the complete disregard our people have for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and having an actual relationship with the Lord, right? And in times where we would actually, we would need to rely on, we need to rely on him now, but even when civil unrest breaks out, when the sedition really breaks out, when there's troops on the street and all this, and Jacob's trouble, all these different calamities that are coming upon these different societies, this is where you really would need a relationship with the Heavenly Father through his Son, right? That's what we get. That's what we want. We want the mercies of David, like it says in Isaiah 55. My precept, excuse me. It says, Sirach 20 verse 30, it says, Wisdom that is hid and treasure that is hoarded, what profit is in them both, right? So, a lot of our people have a bunch of treasure that is hoarded up, and it's not actually being put to use, and our people don't have that understanding and that mindset. It's just accumulates, and it's not being put to a valuable use. It's just essentially collects dust, and essentially, when we pass away, then all those treasures, the government finds ways to, get a hold of a lot of these treasures, right? And for example, I know there's a lot of musicians, a lot of rappers who have passed away, and essentially a lot of those riches that they have accumulated for a lot of these record companies, they don't go towards the families. The record companies are still able to profit from a lot of dead Israelites even to this day, right? I want to jump to verse 32. It says, necessary patience, in seeking the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is better than he that liveth his life without a guide. And a lot of our people don't live their lives with a particular guide. They don't live their life with a purpose, right? And the scriptures talk about the whole duty of man is to serve the Most High, fear the Most High, and keep his commandments, right? And for the women who listen, your purpose is to serve your husband, right? And care for your children. And you could find that in Titus chapter 2, right? So let me go back to the parable. This is the last verse. It says, yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 21 in the KJV, it says, so is he that layeth up treasure for himself and not rich towards the Most High Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, right? And this relationship that we have, that is what's going to help us, and Second Ezra 9 talks about the works and the faith, right? Having that is going to get us through, particular times to come, right? When things really, 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 get ugly out in the streets, the sedition, the Jacob's trouble, so on and so forth, right? All these things are going to help be a hedge of protection. Lord will that he continues to have mercy upon us, right? Because that's what we want. We want the mercies of David, right? So that really covers the parable. I guess I'll get one more and close it off. Okay. This is Zephaniah 2 verse 2, and it says, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord Yahweh come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Verse 3, it says, seek ye the Lord Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth. Ye have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, right? And that's one of the things we want to be hid, right? The prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, and we hide ourselves, by putting off those old ways and putting on, like the scriptures talk about, put on the elect of the Most High, right? And we would become a more pleasing, essentially a more pleasing bride, right? So, so the Lord would actually have mercy upon us through his son Yahweh Shai during these times, right? So, anyways, as a matter of fact, I'll read in the NLT. It says, so seek the Lord, all who are humble, and follow his commands. Seek what to do is right and live humbly. Perhaps even yet the Lord will protect you from his anger on the day of destruction, right? So, that's essentially, a beautiful thing for the Lord to actually intervene and protect us during those times, right? So, anyways, I just thought I would, discuss this a little bit, and because just goes to show the mindset of a lot of our people. And the riches that you have, it doesn't encapsulate your purpose, your entire existence on being on this planet. And that's one of the things I guess I wanted to touch on too, because our people, they think money is the be all and end all, right? It's just a tool, right? It's just a defense, like the scriptures say. But there's more to life than just making money and then going about all these different. As a matter of fact, I just remembered the scripture, right? Let me get this last one, promise. Then I'll let your brothers go. Where is it? James, I believe it's 4. Okay, this is James chapter 4, verse 13, and it says, so read it in the KJV. It says the following: go to now, ye that say today and tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. Verse 14, it says, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, then vanisheth away. Verse 14 in the NLT, it says, how do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like a morning fog. It is here for a little while, then it's gone, right? And now people don't have that mindset. They have all these lofty particular goals and so on and so forth that they put together, especially when it comes to these dreams and whatever it is that they have. And tomorrow can come. Like another thing that I was actually talking to my manager about this recently, and he said that he's even had friends that has actually gone about particular endeavors like this, and then by the time they were essentially they were trying to put together the pieces to their, whether it's their nice house that they built back in the Caribbean islands, or they set up their business when they get to a certain age. He had a particular, I don't know if it was a family member he was discussing or a friend. Either way, somebody, they finished their particular endeavor, and what happened? They caught sick and they died. Right? So this is actually a true story from what I'm telling you, brothers and few sisters who listen, right? So the most I can, take, a lot of our people through this particular, endeavors, and then by the time they put their finishing touches to these particular endeavors, they never actually enjoy it. They could just bite the dust. Their health, they neglected their health, and then the Most High takes them out, right? Just like that, right? So I just thought it was also very interesting as well. That just came to my mind, right, as I was as I was reading this. So hopefully, Yahweh Ratazah, Yahweh willing, sincerely hope that this lesson was edifying. And I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Mukakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.